right, Shalom. Before I start, gonna give all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Ruach the honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim Wa'akwath, learning and teaching in truth and sincerity, and of the video to the Spirit. Your brother Malak from GMS Detroit. And this one right here, this video I came across, says First Blood was America lying to itself. And now this video, right, dealing with kind of a combination of the climate, especially from ICE, and you know, you got the Medomites talking about they don't want to pay their taxes. We need to revolt. You know, they need to take up arms, and it's prophesied that there will be civil war, right? The people of this country will fight against their government, and we can see that, you know, the elite, they're stirring up the emotions of the people to do so. And one of the things that this country does, you know, a very great contributing factor, is that they don't take care of their war veterans on purpose. All right, I'm gonna play a little bit of this video, but I got another clip I'm gonna go back and grab real quick. And when you read in the scriptures, y'all, and you know that's one we're gonna have to go to, you already know, the soldiers, right, the men who went out and fought for the sovereignty of the land so that your wives and kids can be at the home safe, they were honored when they came back, right? They weren't treated like shit. They weren't not given proper health care and housing, right? If you talk crazy on the warriors, you was liable to get killed. What's an example of that? David with Shimei, right? You know, he was being hassled by his son Absalom, and you know, Shimei took that opportunity. He was throwing rocks at him, talking crazy on him, and Abishai, you know, what did he say? My Lord, I'll go cut this dog's head off right now, right? And David had to calm him down. You're supposed to take care of your warriors. This country doesn't take care of their warriors. Now the question becomes why. And Shorty's gonna say something, you know, that it helped give you the idea. All right, so let's play.
Wholeheartedly believe that the reason the government does not take care of our veterans better is because keeping our veterans in a place where they're constantly having to survive instead of thrive means that they are far less likely to be able to participate in a form of resistance against the government. And I think that their input in a resistance would be our best shot at actually overthrowing an authoritarian government. I wholeheartedly believe.
Yep, and you know what she's saying, it's not nothing new or deep, but the bingo. They don't want to give the average man a good fighting chance when they go to establish their New World Order. They want as minimal amount of combatants to deal with as possible. Right? They already, you know, set up all these laws to make it hard, you know, to get a gun, you know, especially for a law-abiding citizen. As a criminal, it ain't no problem, but as a law-abiding citizen, you got to jump through so many hoops. You'll give up halfway in the process. They don't want you Americans to be trained. They don't want you to be healthy. They don't want you to be armed, especially the soldiers, the men that are capable of coming up against their regime. So what do? You know, fuck them off in their benefits. You know, come back with all kind of mental health issues, PTSDs, and they treat them like shit, right? Hey, y'all, some of the mental disorders now, which the clip I'm going to play from YouTube is going to describe that. Some of the things that okay, PTSD, right? You didn't have that back in the day, you know? If you came home fucked up from some of the horrible shit you saw and did, you were just a fuck up. And then you just be outcasted. They didn't have all these help me programs and 12-step or none of that. They don't want you to have a fighting chance. So when they send the New World Order soldiers in, all you can do is get rolled on. Right? Problem action solution, I forget the y'all know it, right? The elite don't want you to have a chance against them. Hence, they've disarmed all of your warriors over the decades and brought shame to them. How about that, y'all? How about that? They out this bitch kicking puppies, and you know Esau don't know. Kicking a dog to Esau, boy, you might as well call yourself the Antichrist in their eyes.
¡Ay, no le pegues! ¡Te estoy hablando, man, imbécil! ¡No le pegues! No le pegue, buen abusador. Abusadores. Oye, no le pegue, te estoy grabando. Abusador, maldito, coño, abusador.
All the propaganda coming from Christy Gnomes, DHS, how they're recruiting folks. Look at the
Like Jesse Ventura said, when you see soldiers on the streets, that's how you know you're in a third world country, y'all.
Like you live in America. I'm just curious. Say that one more time. I said, why the fuck are you flying a Mexican flag in America? Because it's what I want to do.
So we all agree. Now we all agree. I agree.
terrific,
I said
but-
it before that it was the worst halftime show ever, and it's 250 years that we're celebrating right now in the United.
Logan, are you excited for the halftime? No.
So, you know, let me get you see that is getting real out here in these streets, y'all. And according to your constitution, you know, you're supposed to be able to raise up a militia when you believe you have a corrupt government lording over you. But go ahead and try that and watch what'll happen. Get this next one.
New York City, yeah.
Appreciate it.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Even the
Why don't
citizens
you
are getting
have a real ID here?
What's that?
Why doesn't it say real ID on your thing? It says not real.
What do you mean, not real?
No, that's for Trump.
What are you talking about?
Purposes. Why don't you have
This is
a
not a real
real
ID.
one? So you didn't get the real one?
This is what I got from PennDOT in Pennsylvania.
That's what they gave you?
This is what they gave me, yes. It's commercial driver license. I mean, you guys, do you want my social security number? You guys can run it up?
We'll find out.
All right, that's cool.
Even U.S. citizens are getting ran, okay?
Yeah.
They're getting ran, not for citizens.
No, I'm seeing this
Criminal, they get ran for
every day. I get it, yeah.
okay?
Correct. Bring laptop already.
This is fucking crazy.
Do you always come here to pick up loads?
No.
You're not with this company.
No, I'm not with this company. This is my company right here.
That's you?
The transport,
own?
right? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not with these people. I get loads from my dispatcher. We go wherever they send us, all over New Jersey into Pennsylvania.
Yes, that's correct. Newark. No problem. I need a name read. Fernandez. Fernandez. No, you have a secondary last name, or that's
The only last name, Fernandez.
Okay.
My only last name.
First name is Gary.
Ask them if they want my social too.
Well, photos?
So you see here, y'all, he's being completely, you know, harassed. Whether or not, you know, he's legal. Sounds like he is. You know, most illegals wouldn't be ready to give you a social security number. But you see here, y'all, you are supposed to have a fighting force to stand up and prevent these kinds of things from happening, according to your constitution. Now, the elite aren't going to have that. So slowly but surely, decade by decade, they've been stripping everybody of their rights and privileges, right? The Patriot Act. Now, you know, if you do something they don't like, what will you be deemed? A T, right? Hey, and to being called a T, a terror, you know what? You that's worse than being called a crackhead or a you know, a fag. You know, real talk. You get hit with that, you'll never work a job again, right? Let me get that scripture in Sirach though. That we're gonna work our way back to that Rambo video. If y'all remember, you know, I know you older brothers. The whole plot of Rambo, you know, the original on First Blood, what? He was a soldier, and what they start doing him? They start dogging him, and what happened? Nigga Rambo happens. Sirach 25 and 7. It says, oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. This guy. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. Yep, Sirach 26 and 28. It says, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. a man of war that suffereth poverty, and men of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepareth such an one for the sword. Bingo. And of course, what we need for this video, the top part, a man of war that suffereth poverty. You didn't hear it is, y'all. People that had limbs blown off, arms chopped off, and of course, we don't care about this country, right? We understand the deal. But speaking in general, your soldiers are supposed to be taken well care of, without argument. With, you know, if we gonna make any cuts to make an exception for somebody, we supposed to make exceptions for what? The old people and the damn soldiers, man. You know, the kids, you know, nigga, just feed him, he'll grow up, he'll be all right, he'll get over it. But the soldiers is damn sure supposed to be took care of, because without them, your country wouldn't be standing. Does America take care of its soldiers? No. Why? So that they will not be a problem when it is time to absolutely roll on the people to set up the new establishing world order, the mark of the beast system, right? Complete erasure of your rights, complete taking people out of their households. It'll be less combatants to have to potentially deal with. Hence, they've treated them like shit. Let them die sick. Let them, y'all, there were certain, you know, you deal with the Vietnam War in particular, man. People were coming back sick with shit. They were sending them out there with experimental shit, y'all. If you remember the movie Jacob's Ladder, right? The focal point of the movie is that they were out there with an experimental drug, which caused them to go insane. And they started, come to find out, they weren't shooting at real enemies. They were killing each other off that psychotropic drug, y'all. Some of these soldiers, y'all, they went to these wars, man, and were just subject to absolute body and mind altering experiments without them knowing. Here it is, you think you going to serve your country, you come back with an arm growing out your neck and missing your spinal cord. You ain't ready to rebel against nobody. You just trying to get through the pain and suffering now. All right, let me let this play.
First Blood isn't about a man who snaps. It's about a country that can't admit that it's lost. America lost Vietnam. Not just tactically, but psychologically.
He'd much rather be a businessman than a soldier, but right now he's in charge of the lives of 21 men.
It was the first time that the heavyweight got into the ring and got beaten clean. The smaller fighter went the distance and won on points. That matters because America's entire self-image is built on a cowboy myth. Good guys win, strength prevails, and history always bends the right way.
You wanted law and order in this town. You've got it.
However, Vietnam broke that spell, and by the early 80s, the job wasn't to understand the loss, it was to try and forget it, to rebuild the ego and get back in the ring. Reagan told the country,
believe in ourselves and to believe in our capacity to perform great deeds.
And then Rambo walked into town.
So fair use, y'all. We'll see if they may have it to where I have to edit the clips out of Rambo. But if y'all remember the movie, you know, he's a stranger. He comes into town. You know, the head sheriff, whatever, treats him like shit. Dogs him. You know, they beating the shit out of him in jail. Then eventually pushes him to the edge, right?
When First Blood reaches cinemas in 1982, the United States isn't at peace with Vietnam. It's simply tired of talking about it. There's no shared version of the story that people are comfortable repeating. There's no ending that works cleanly or, crucially, heroically, and it left behind consequences that don't sit easily inside a peacetime narrative.
And then we came back and we were different, and everybody wants to know, God, what happened to those guys over there? Gee, I saw them marching around a parade ground. They all looked so nice and clean cut, and they all had smiles. And then you come back and you're not smiling anymore. We did what we had to do.
So you see many of the soldiers come back mentally fucked up, y'all. And it's like that on purpose. They don't get the proper help. They don't get the care, right? Hey, you have brothers that are ex-military, man. They'll tell you stories, right? Certain people come back and bug out and spaz out, bro. Go watch the movie Brothers with Tobey Maguire. That's another good one. You know, he come back, his brother's married to his wife, and he's about to blow himself. He's about to kill himself. He said, you know what I had to do to get back at her, yo? You know, good movie, right? With Jake Gyllenhaal and Natalie Portman and them. They go over there and have to do bad things, right? You know, for this money, this blood hungry ass country, and then come back here to get treated like shit. Why is that? When the morale of the people is low, y'all, they not ready to rebel. Motherfuckers can't fight back with hungry stomachs and shattered minds. All right, I just want to get something real quick. Soldiers, you know, they walk around in a different mindset. If you remember the conversation, was it 2 Samuel 17:8, is it? Yeah. It says 2 Samuel 17:8. It says, "For said Hushai, thou knowest thy father and his men, that they be mighty men, and they be chafed in their minds, as a bear robbed of her whelps in the field, and that thy father is a man of war, and will not lodge with the people." So Hushai is reminding Absalom, hey, you know, if you provoke your father, he'll come out to whoop that ass. And being chafed in mind, let's see what that is. Let's see what that is, y'all. Chafed in the mind. You know, you see things, you do things, you hear things, it changes your mentality. And rather than, you know, get them the help or show them some extra love like you're supposed to do, does this country do that? Of course not. Bitterness. Pain, right? They're bitter in the mind. Bingo. Great, heavy, discontented, angry. Them boys come back rattled in the head, y'all. And Esau Edom knows this. And does he give them the necessary help and nurture that they need to become what's the word? Not reestablish. Not re-educate. I forget the word, man. Fuck me. For them to be back in society as a normal person, do they get that help usually? No. You know, it's, you know, 50-50. Some, you know, they just get back used to it, and a lot of soldiers, they come back and they hey, I got a great uncle, bro. Fucked off in the head, you know. Fucked off in the head. Had to do things, had to see things, all right? If those people's minds was right and they had a focused goal, it would be a lot harder for the elite to take this country over and remold it, as they're doing now, as we see.
And people wanted us to be ashamed of what it made us.
That tension is already there. And
so I'm going to just fast forward a little bit.
Footage of
right and all.
But the film itself doesn't announce any of this. Rambo walks into town, gets picked up by the police sheriff.
Now jump in. I'll make sure you're heading the right direction, huh? Why are you pushing me? What did you...
Why are you pushing me?
We don't want guys like you in this town. Drifters.
And then dropped off on the outskirts. The moment where he decides that this is the last place that he's going to be moved on from.
And did him dirty. Dropped him off outside of town. Did him dirty, y'all.
He gets arrested and processed and treated in a way that slides quietly from procedure into humiliation.
How you like that, huh? What's the matter, Mitch? Don't you like water sports?
The film lingers here longer than you might expect, on the mundane details and the small indignities that are easy to justify on their own. Nothing looks outrageous in isolation, and that's kind of the point. Violence doesn't enter the story as a premeditated plan. Rambo is post-Vietnam syndrome before PTSD.
Boy, that nigga having flashbacks, man. You can't be playing with people out here, y'all. Trying to look cute and have some fun, man. Nigga, he in a whole different, man. He'll rip your goddamn head off, man.
He was recognized. Rambo gets pushed, and he pushes behind to the point. Violence doesn't enter the story as a premeditated plan. Rambo is post-Vietnam syndrome before PTSD was recognized. Rambo gets pushed, and he pushes back against a force that he knows he'll lose against, eventually. But for a short while, he gets to do what he was created for. In his mind...
So right there, y'all, they pushed him too far. And what did he do? Hey, we got a good-ass movie out of it. And of course, you know, the sequels, they aren't as serious as the original was. But right there, man. You know, so Esau Edom, knowing this, the elite, right? they've made sure to keep the soldiers weak so that, you know, they have an easier time taking this bitch over. And, you know, you go to some of these comments, y'all, something you see in a lot of these comments, a lot of these clips. Oh man, we need a revolt. We need a da-da-da. Yeah, well, your soldiers are broken in the head, so they don't got no time to revolt, y'all. You know, they too busy trying to fucking get through with the divorce. You know, they're bitch, you know, having babies by another nigga, right? Jody done ran up in the crib. And it's all done on purpose, right? It's all done on purpose. So just a real quick video, something I wanted to highlight. Hey man, this is a plan that Edom has been working on for a long time. So he's every avenue to get ready for this, he's gotten ready for it. This is just one of them. All right, we give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, B'chakorash, of honors to the elders and apostles, Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, Akwath, learning, teaching, truth, and sincerity. Shalom.